Good evening. It is now 6:30 p.m. and we're here at the Pine Ridge Clubhouse located at 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard for the monthly Pine Ridge at Fort Myers Condominium Association Board of Directors meeting. By the way, before we stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America, I'd like for us to pause and take a moment of silence to honor the memory of Bob Canavan and Shirley Doucette, members who recently passed away. Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Eric, will you please call the roll?
John Mel.
Here.
Bob Tolles.
Here.
Bill England.
Here.
John Fricker.
Here.
Scott Harris.
Here.
Phil Schifano.
Here.
Tom Trina.
Here. I've been called worse.
Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Do I have a motion to waive the reading of the previous month's minutes?
I make a motion we waive the reading of the previous month's minutes.
I second it.
All in favor, say please.
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to waive the reading of the previous month's minutes? Oh, I did, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Groundhog Day.
Do we have anyone sign up to speak during the open forum?
We have no open forum.
Wow.
Where is it?
Eric, would you please present your manager's report?
We have nobody signed up for the open forum. We have one. Hurricane season is coming right up. We're going to be watching it closely. We've already been discussing it quite a bit. Everyone should do everything they can to prepare for the storm, or for a storm, potential storm. Everybody, I think, knows what to do by now. Last month, it was suggested by one of our open forum speakers, Ron Visness, that people consider buying flood insurance. Flood insurance, while we're not in a flood zone, flood insurance is not required. It is recommended, and Ron is correct about that. It's a good idea to have. All loose items stored outside. This includes planters, hanging pots, furniture, and bicycles, including bicycles stored in the hallways, underneath the stairs, and hanging pots outside in courtyards, should be brought inside and are against the rules. As we move into the summer, we'll provide more information regarding hurricanes. Residents should take the threat of a hurricane or tropical storm seriously and take all necessary precautions, and try to not wait till the last minute because it doesn't usually work out, as we learned a couple of years ago. COVID-19 vaccine. As you guys know, we talked about, since the emergency use authorization was granted for the different COVID-19 vaccines that were developed under Operation Warp Speed, we've tried to organize to have it administered here at our clubhouse. Express Pharmacy of Naples is ready to go. We have the Moderna vaccine available to us, and we're excited to help residents who have not been able to get it or can't travel far to go get it. And we want to help them get inoculated without having to be very inconvenient. So what we have is a sign-up sheet. We have to give them about a day or so notice so they can have the vaccines ready for us. And It'll most likely be a Wednesday, either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after, depending on how many people sign up. And you can get your first dose or your second dose. And we ask you to specify that on the sign-up sheet. So the sign-up sheet is posted there. We're going to send out information to everybody. And I think a lot of people have already taken the vaccine that are planning on taking it. But if we can help anybody at all, we're happy to do that. We're happy to be able to offer it here at Pine Ridge. At the beginning, I even was emailing the governor himself, trying to get him to come here and bring us vaccine. I want to address some other issues that were brought up last month in the open forum and just provide some clarification. Hopefully people understand a little better what we're doing. One of the things is the staffing, the association staffing. Last month during the open forum, it was stated by a member that they believe Bruce is overwhelmed and additional help needs to be hired. Without getting bogged down on this topic, although we did talk to Bruce and he doesn't necessarily feel that way, I do want to provide a little more insight on who I have working here on a daily and weekly basis, so you guys can understand that although including myself, the association only employs 3 individuals directly, we indirectly employ many more than that, and it takes quite a few people to keep the community at the high level that we all expect. So just to go over a few of the people that help us, in addition to Pamela, Bruce, and myself, we have Marianella, who's our janitor. She's contracted through Crystal Clean. She's here a minimum of 4 days a week, and frankly, she's the best janitor that we've ever had in the 9 years that I've been manager here. She does an unbelievable job. With Immaterio, who's a carpenter. He's a very, very good construction worker. He performs work for us on a piecework basis, which means we pay him by the job. So he's incentivized to not take hours and hours and hours to finish a job, to finish it in a timely manner. And he's typically here 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week, and he's a great help to Bruce. He's able to take and complete some of the more labor-intensive construction-related work orders that we don't want Bruce doing, because I kind of have a philosophy with employees versus vendors. We care about our employees. We want to take care of our employees. Vendors are vendors. We like them, but we don't necessarily care about them like we do our employees. So the harder jobs we would give to a vendor, not someone that we care about. We have James, who's our irrigation contractor technician. He's on site at least 1 day a week, troubleshooting the system, making repairs, doing wet checks. Previously, and this is what most communities have, is 1 day a month to have an irrigation tech here. About 3 years ago, we increased it to 1 day a week, and things got a lot better here, and it works out pretty well. Jesus, our landscape crew leader, he's been with us since as long as I've been here. We switched over to Avant-Garde. He's here with his crew of 6 guys, 2 days a week, all day Monday, all day Tuesday. Then during the heavy rain season, we supplement on Saturdays. And then unskilled labor. We often bring in unskilled labor through a company called People Ready, who we have a relationship with. There's some jobs that just simply aren't for somebody who makes the pay that Bruce makes, or makes the pay that it's for a lower skilled worker. So rather than expend those resources on those jobs, we'll bring in somebody that we can pay a little less to do that. And that works out really well. That's how we've been doing it for the last 3.5 years. And we don't owe these guys vacation days. We don't owe them Christmas. We don't owe them holidays. We don't owe them workman's comp. And it's worked out really well. We find that we get more work done this way than if we had hourly employees like we have had in the past. And I think that's reflected on the appearance and the property and the maintenance, and as well as the values of the units, which continue to go up. Then I wanted to provide a response to some concerns that were expressed about our budget process from last year. Everybody knows last year was a little bit different than every other year, but a member expressed during the open forum concern that the association is not holding in-person budget committee meetings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it got me thinking about, like, what are other associations doing? How do they handle this? and I wanted to find out. So I actually sent a note to Lori Sampson, who's the managing partner of Myers and Breholtz, who does all of our accounting, just to ask her, because I know they're involved heavily in the budgeting process for a lot of other communities that don't have active committees like we do. And I'll just read what she wrote back to me. In the many years we've been working with condominium and homeowners associations, 2020 was an unprecedented year. Well, when people say that. Most of our clients had to reconvene their membership meetings and hold them by proxy on Zoom or some other electronic manner. The budget process, when we are involved, has mostly always been by phone and email, but this year many of our clients who previously held in-person budget workshops also resorted to electronic meetings and canceled in-person meetings. Only this year in 2021, as the vaccine started rolling out, did we see and get invited to in-person meetings that are being held following CDC guidelines with proper distancing, and many continue to wear masks, including myself and my staff. Our office requires all guests to wear masks and get their temperature taken prior to meeting with staff members. COVID-19 has dramatically affected the way we all do business. Lori Sampson, Myers Brothers. So as you can see, they've been overly cautious, much more so than even we have. And I think better safe than sorry has been kind of the approach that the whole world has taken. So while I think we're all disappointed we didn't have budget meetings last year, we ended up with a pretty solid budget, and hopefully moving forward we can get back to normal. The last thing I wanted to talk about tonight is the annual audit. The reason I want to talk about this is normally we talk about it at the end of the year when the voting comes up, and there's a group of people that are always wanting to do the audit, and then there's a group of people that, a larger group of people that vote against doing it to save money. That's the bottom line, why it would be voted against. So as with any vote, there's going to be a group that's dissatisfied with the outcome, and neither side is right or wrong. But normally when I'm explaining it to you guys, being that it's in that voting season, I think some people think I'm trying to convince one way or the other, which I really, whether we do the audit or not, I'm happy either way. But I just want to explain that it's not like an IRS audit where they're looking at receipts and trying to tell the story of where did the money come from, where did it go, and that all they're really doing is checking the accounting procedures that the accounting firm is using. And to show, I actually have some copies of old audits here from Pine Ridge, if anybody cares to see it that's interested in this topic, because I think it explains what you get for the $10,000 or $12,000 better than I can, because it's really bound really nicely, but the information inside is not going to be of value to most people, and it doesn't necessarily catch wrongdoing. We're responsible for our own numbers. So the process, like what Scott laid out last month, how the bills are paid and the invoices are approved, that's the critical component. And there's 3 sets of eyes that look at those. There's management, and then it goes to accounting, and then it lastly goes to the board treasurer. And that's where the security lies, and that's audited every 2 weeks when we pay those bills, because the money goes out. That's what we really need to watch. But anybody that wants to take a look at these, this are 2 different years of audits. I'm happy to show you guys. That's why I took them out here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Scott, will you please give your treasurer's report?
Yeah. Can I take my mask off? Glasses. Okay, the association remains on budget, and we haven't had any unexpected expenditures. Typical expenses for the period, these are a little bit extra, include condo building annual fire alarm inspections, repair, and equipment replacement. Because of the climate, we generally have to replace a lot of units. General repair of fences, walls, and sidewalks. Supplemental cleaning of hallway floors. The continued critter trapping. I think I heard we got 10 armadillos.
A couple more now.
Oh, okay. And we've had installation of sod, and we've done some replacement shrubs. The accounts receivables consist of 17 owners, which is typical, 5 of whom are the attorney for collections, and 12 of whom owe small amounts, and they may have been paid by now. As always, the financial documentation is always on view, available for review by the residents. Eric talked about the audit I mentioned before. This is, on the table is the short balance statement that we put out to save paper. There's a long form that we get every month, and it's the complete package. And if you want to pick up one of these brochures, you can pick that up. You can do your own audit. Everything's in there. It's completely transparent. So if you're curious about that, the audits that they do, if we did our books in the office, we did the accounting and the check writing and everything, or if the treasurer of the board did that, like me on QuickBooks and TurboTax, an audit like this every 2 or 3 years would probably be a pretty good idea to make sure we're on track, that we're doing the accounting correct, and that our numbers add up. But our accountant and all of our work is done by a partnership firm, a big one in Fort Myers, and they're probably more confident than the people that do this report. And so it's not necessary, to my mind, really, but it's still an annual decision on the part of the 462 shareholders of the community. If you want to have the audit, we'll definitely do it.
We're happy to do it.
That's not a problem. The only problem I have as a treasurer is it's like 10 grand and you get a nice booklet. But yeah, we can do it. It's fine to do. So anyway, that's me done. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Eric and Scott. Now, before we have any committee reports, I would like to give my president's report a little bit in advance here. I have noticed over the last month or two, there have been the open forum and question and answer sections of our board meetings are becoming less and less productive and creating perceptions of the operation here that are not true. I think that open and transparent communication between the board and members is critical to a healthy association. I also know that some of the best ideas and most important changes that boards have made over the years are born from the open forum. It is my hope that the board always maintains this open forum. I do want to discuss my expectations as chairman of the board from those speakers step up and speak during this forum. Speakers have a maximum of 4 minutes to convey their idea to the board. I would like ideas to be focused on the macro elements of the community or items that help and be of interest to the overall community, not individual issues or complaints. If you have if you have something that needs attention as an individual issue, I know myself and the board members, as well as our manager, will be happy to speak to you individually. No patronizing of individuals or personnel disagreements. While we may have different ideas or beliefs, I will not accept anything but professional behavior from everyone in attendance at our meetings. If anyone doesn't follow this, they will be considered out of order and could be asked to leave the meeting. I'd like for us to remember that we are the same team as one community. The membership should never feel like they are in an adversarial role versus the board or the other way around. While we may disagree at times, all of us want to see Pine Ridge be the best community it can be. During my career at the Bear Corporation, part of what made our organization successful was the collaboration way our teams work to produce positive results. As president and chairman of the board here at Pine Ridge, many goals are to ensure that the community is maintained in a first-class manner at all times, maximize value of our membership, and create a nice, welcoming place for our youth all to live. I believe that we are succeeding in this goal, as evidenced by the values of the condos and values, which have increased by 25% or better over the past year. Despite any negative effect the pandemic may have had on those sales. I know over the last year the COVID-19 has affected everyone's life in a negative way and made it difficult to run our community the way we want and have all of the activities there that we enjoy. We all feel the effects. I want to say that I'm proud of the way the community reacted and worked together to make the best of a bad situation. I hope that moving forward into next year, we can get back to having fun and enjoying our great community the way we want to. Do we have any committee reports?
So I want to start on this end of the table. Good evening, everyone. I'm the chairman of the website committee, and we've been meeting every couple of weeks lately, and we just wanted to give you an update of some of the progress we've made. The website committee is charged with researching the possibility of updating and enhancing our website to be more user-friendly, more informational to all the members, and more accessible to all the members. Or there is an option of replacing the current website with a new one. We're looking into that also. The budget for this project isn't quite finalized yet, as we're waiting to get our research completed and have more finite numbers to present to the board. The current site is hosted by a local vendor, and it's only $19.95 a month, 20 bucks a month. So we're looking to keep our costs as low as possible. We are examining, in addition to looking at outside new products, we're examining the current website and host company to see what is available to enhance, update, or modernize the current website. If we could leave that in place, it'll save us a lot of work and some of the funding it would take to create a new one. The goal is to better serve the community's needs in that regard. Under initial exam, it appears the current software can be updated to newer, more recent versions, and this looks very promising. There's a lot of research yet to be done. The product features on these new improved programs are much improved, and they offer a number of attractive options at a still reasonable cost. We also want to determine whether its functions and features can allow us to add some features to the website, such as email addresses for the members that are optional. And at one point, we even had photos planned where we could take photos of members, and those would be available. Again, that's all optional. We want to provide a newsletter for the members, more communication tools that would make it easier for you and the staff here, some tracking capabilities, and maybe some member input areas where you can ask questions or place work orders through the website rather than coming down here. We're also looking at the possibility of a more all-encompassing integrated software package that might also be useful to Eric for day-to-day operations. The website committee will meet every 2 weeks for the foreseeable future, just because this project is real front-end loaded as far as the work involved. So the next 2 meetings are scheduled April 29th, which is a week from tomorrow, at 2 p.m., and then 2 weeks after that on May 13th at 2 p.m., and we'll continue that every other Thursday at 2 p.m. schedule, if anyone's interested. Thank you.
Yeah, well, Phil. Oh, okay. The landscape meeting, fortunately, Judy Humbarger, I'd like to thank for taking the notes at our meeting. I was expecting the usual 3 or 4 people that we usually get, and I thought we'd grab Eric's golf cart and we would go survey the community and look for any holes in beauty, as it were. 14 people showed up, so my agenda flew over to the butterfly garden, and we covered quite a lot of things. We started out with individual issues, for instance, some growth vines growing in the Eureka palms on the east side of the lake, individual things like that that need to be addressed. The best thing to do with an individual issue rather than a systemic issue is to do a work order. If you see something, say something kind of thing. If it's by your place and something's struggling or dying, maybe the hibiscus got sprayed with a chemical or something, things like that happen, just come in and fill out a work order. And that's the best way to address those individual issues. 2 places we're looking for ideas for, because we have to plan the design, the planning of the labor, the budget, where to get it and what to get, and then I have to come up with the money for next year. But the 2 areas that will be important, one is the fountain, which was redone and it's very nice, but all of the landscaping is gone, mostly. So inviting designs or ideas for that to beautify it. Until we can do that, please enjoy the lovely new fountain. It's clean and the jets actually work, and that's great. The other one is here by the dock. We used to have mature bottle brush trees and other plants, and after Irma broke that up, and then it just died out. So now we have, where you walk onto the dock, there are 2 planting beds there. And so we'd be looking for ideas for that, for the project concept, budgeting, and to do that. But we do want to do it right, because these areas, they're permanent plantings, and they're very, they're not less obvious in a corner. I mean, they're integral parts of what the beauty of the thing. This is what people see when they come here. They're going to buy, they're going to see the fountain, they're going to see the dock. So what we plant, we would like to have done really well and on a permanent basis. So we need to take a little time and think about what we're going to do there, design it, cost it out, and put it in. The Sailview plantings, that will happen. Larry from Avant Yard passed away, vibrant guy, and we were all really shocked, but that threw some of our landscaping off, like doing the annuals and the usual dressing up of things. I mean, his company was thrown out of whack, and things just didn't, some of the things just didn't happen. So this coming fall, when we dress up the place again over the summer in the wets, we'll get back to that. So a lot of people, if you've missed the color on the main drive and the gate, it'll be back. This past year has just been a write-off. I mean, for some things, it's just been terrible. But That's it. Yeah. And but thanks for everybody that came. Please come again.
Yeah. Our Lake and Amenities Committee, we met last Friday, and here's just kind of an overview of what we talked about. So during the meeting, several items were brought up that need to be looked at, and some of these need to be addressed by the association. One of the items was flowers at the fountain, which Scott had talked about. This item was discussed at the Landscape Committee meeting, and they're to take action on this item. Bike racks continue to be a topic at our meetings. If you have any bikes in the racks that aren't being used, please remove those so that additional spaces are available. I'm going to get with Eric and see if we have any additional bike racks that we have stored somewhere or not in use or whatever that we can move around to some of the condo buildings that are having an overabundance of bicycles. Tape grass continues to grow on the west side of the lake, and I contacted Mike Sweeney at Advanced Aquatics, and he got back with, and by email today, said that Hunter, which is our guy that comes and does the spraying and so forth in the lake, he'll be here either Friday or Monday to do some additional addressing of that, to try to take care of that. The area around the pump house, this is down on the northwest end of the lake, is an area that we need to look at, and we've looked at in the past, and it needs to be dressed up and try to make it a little more presentable. People down, especially down on that end, made complaints about that several times, that it just looks out of place where it is, so, and how it is. So maybe we can do something. Eric and I have looked at that once, and we really couldn't come up with a plan, but we'll just have to readdress that again. Scott, Eric, and myself met at the tennis court this morning to look at the cracks in the surface that need to be addressed in some manner. Eric is going to contact the people that done the resurfacing on the tennis court in the past and see if they can come up with some kind of seal to seal those cracks and to repaint the portions of the court where that sealing is to take place. And also, it was reported we had some lights out on the walking path on the east side of the lake. However, after checking, I couldn't find any of them out. It may have been that you may have been out there at a time when these lights come on in two sections. The section on the south end of the lake will come on first, and the other end comes on a little bit later. And that may have been what you see. But there is one corner over there that is a little bit dark, and we're going to talk with Eric about, see if we can get one light in between the last two that we have on the posts there, to kind of light that area up there where it won't be a dark spot, especially if you do any walking after dark. And our next meeting will be held on Thursday the 13th at 4 o'clock at the gazebo out here behind the clubhouse. It's again, if you have any concerns or whatever, just give me a call or an email. It's 239-940-5064 or bengland1900@gmail.com. Thank you.
Well, we had a committee meeting for the rules and regulations, and we discussed quite a few topics. Nothing serious at the moment, but we do have a situation. We got a list of rule violations that was developed by other members in the community, and we're taking a look at that real quick. It's already been mentioned a little bit. The bicycles, that's a situation, And to me, it could be an emergency situation if there was a medical emergency and the hallways are blocked up with bikes. So that's one of the reasons why those are not allowed to be there. But the list says we have quite a few bikes and violations of our bike rule, whether they're abandoned at the bike rack or chained up in the hallway to one item or another. Some even reported to have lag bolts anchored into the wall to lock their bikes up. And yeah, that's not allowed. Illegal plantings in front of a condo, pots outside of the common area, ceramic, plastic, metal ornaments displayed, metal ornaments, flowers hanging on garage walls, fruit trees, and illegal plants in common grounds, illegal flags displayed, 2 golf carts not covered, 34 villas and non-compliant exterior frame window colors, and so on. And 4 to 10 violations of people reserving spots at the pool and not using them or not showing up till later in the day. So as you can see, some serious items and some not so serious. Being new on the board and new in this community, I don't know exactly what happened 5-10 years ago. Some people say the rules weren't enforced or they were relaxed or it was selective. I believe that's one of the reasons that we're currently reviewing the rules that are in the book and see if they are all valid. A lot of them sound silly, hanging pot. Well, in a storm situation, that could be a missile. And you don't want it coming through your window or hitting you in the head or anything else. So we are going to look at those and we will be addressing those situations. Our next rule meeting is going to be May 4th at 2 p.m. here in the clubhouse, and those are the items that we will be addressing at that time. Our meeting agenda will be posted latter part of next week on the bulletin board. Also, we had a architectural review meeting, and it's kind of tied into the rule thing where we have condos in violation and so on, and those will be looked at and addressed. Now, having said that, some of those situations were addressed by the previous board. People were fined for those situations. I don't know the history of all of those, but in some situations they were fined and their apparent violation is still there, although they paid a fine. So we will be looking at that also. Our next architectural review meeting will be the second week of May, probably at 2 p.m. in the clubhouse, and that will also be posted. Anybody is welcome to join these meetings, and if you would like to be on the committee, you're welcome to join us. We'd appreciate your input. Thank you.
Okay, wake up. I don't have that much for the safety committee. Again, I went around with all my senior guys. We did a tour for the lights and the safety. We do have some things that we're waiting for the contractors to show up. As you know, we put in this backdoor card reader. It's installed. We're waiting for the company to return back to install the computer program for that new locking system. This way we can read everybody's card when it's coming in and going out. So we'll know everybody that's in here at any given time. Our next safety meeting is going to be Tuesday, May 4th, 3:30 at the Pavilion.
May the 4th be with you.
Okay. So we do have some other issues. Again, speeding. If you see somebody speeding, do me a favor. Just get an approximate time, the plate number, and the color and the type of car. Please come in, write a little letter, a complaint, and we'll take care of it. We need to slow everybody down. Again, with the bikes, for all the people that go back north, should be put into their condos when they're going back north. We don't need them out there underneath the stairs, chained to the railings. We'll be going around to the bike racks and removing the old rusted bikes that we can really make room for some of these other bikes. I don't know about those three-wheelers, but we'll figure out something with that. We're all working together on that. So please, if you see somebody speeding, come in and say something to us. Give us some data, and we can eventually catch on and catch everybody that's causing problems in here. Thank you, and may the 4th be with you.
Okay, under new business for tonight, we have the guidelines for Clubhouse, and here we go. Beginning May 1st, 2021, the association will reopen its clubhouse and various indoor amenities after being shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Second item is bingo may resume the first Monday in May. The next is Kofi Klatch may begin on Thursday and Saturdays in May. Cards and games or other small groups are open to reconvene in May. Potluck dinners will resume in June or July, dates to be determined. During the initial opening, we will like attendance limited indoors to around 40 to 60 at one time. This represents 50 to 75% of our full capacity. For the time being, masks will be required except when eating or drinking. Only those with breathing conditions or another medical disorder for which they should not wear a mask are exempt from masking at that time. Okay, every event we will require attendances to sign in. This way, in the event we do discover that someone in attendance tests positive for COVID-19, we can notify all who are in attendance with that person. Okay? I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I have one more thing before we get going, if you don't care.
Go ahead.
This has to do with one of the residents that lives here that, to me, that I think went above and beyond for this year, and that's Kathy Fox. A lot of you know her, and she is, as of yesterday, it was today actually, she gave me a note, she's helped 90 people get at least their first or their second shot. And also she has 116 of those, and that includes the 90, I assume too, that she has got appointments for to get those vaccines. So, you know, that's someone that has really went above and beyond, I think, what anyone could ask for. And I think we need to give her a big hand and a round of applause. Thank you.
She even got appointments for Bruce and myself and Pamela. And Pamela and I went on the first day that it was our age group. It was very, she's the best.
She's awesome.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a
Second that motion.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.